I want to make a video um on why I think Hillary Clinton shouldn't have ran for president in 2016. She should have just quit. The reason why she should have quit is because, first of all, um, um, I mean, I actually think the effort made a lot of sense. It, it, it is it was a great valiant effort, and it had it inspired so many women. However, um, the thing is, there's a concept called um that I've picked up on that I didn't understand when I was younger. Why some people don't, they can calculate their failure ahead of time. It's something that I never. It's something that compare that that's just, I just understand. Yeah, when I was younger, I didn't understand it so much. I just thought, oh, why not? When it comes to Hillary Clinton, it makes sense to try to be the first woman president. It's just that things get difficult, and it's just like, you have to have empathy for the voter, and this is something the ISTP I think understands. They understand the voter um, more than the others 15 personality types. So, um, however, the thing is that the, they understand who votes and who doesn't vote, um, and they also understand the electoral college, which is very different. The system is not a direct democracy; it's somewhat of not so direct. Where so why did the Democrats mistaken the direct democracy? They obviously understand those concepts academically, but when applied, they apparently confused, got a basically a confusion that would not earn them decent grades in their introductory courses. So, what's the difference? The main difference is um, that they failed in um, obviously they failed in understanding the vote. So let's divert from this topic because I already discussed in the other video, and let's discuss um on the on on the idea that um that actions have consequences. So let's give an example that can be applied. First of all, um, the example that I would like to digress is that the thing is the U.S. is very big, so you have to have these conventions, you have to have these debates, and you have to pick a city, you have to pick you have to pick somewhere, right? You have to, you just have to make arrangements on such, right? So the thing is, I've seen I've seen that they have to pick a place. Just like I've noticed something. I've noticed that these political parties lack principle. What does that mean, principle? Like it means that like um like they just they just succumb to temptation. It's just like just because they just see somebody, and it's it's like when you were in school and you saw someone, you know, wherever it is, they bring something to school, they wear something, whatever it is, and you just you can't ignore that, right? That's the problem that these political parties have. They didn't stick to their principles, whatever it is, right? They just like the Democrats, they didn't stick to their principles, and because of that, the problem is that they wanted to reverse the '90s, which doesn't make any sense. Like you can't reverse the '90s. That's impossible. Like you can't have a circumstance where Bill Clinton is um, vice president and Hillary, not vice president, is first gentleman, and you just can't reverse the '90s. Now, the thing is, I was only a little baby when in the '90s, so I didn't understand anything about that. I knew that it made a lot of sense for whatnot. You know, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't know much about U.S. history. But you can't reverse the '90s. You can't have this election. And the reason why these things happen is actually kind of it is very bizarre because the thing is, um, you can't um you can't reverse the '90s. And I want to iterate that mistake will probably never happen again, right? Um, but the thing is, like Obama, like they have to understand that his presidency, he won Nobel Prize and everything, great, great accomplishment. Like, only Jimmy Carter and Woodrow Wilson won a Nobel Prize. Maybe it's someone else, but those are the three presidents I can think of who have won Nobel Prize. Um, it's just like they won a Nobel Prize for whatever reason. Um, so the thing is, the Democratic Party needs to. They didn't understand the idea of um of you know like it just well, let's discuss the economic problem. The Obama was able to fix the economic problem after Bush, right? So the thing is, um, what was the last year of Bush compared to the last year of Bush and the last year of Obama? Obama didn't leave the country with economic problems. What did happen though was that the country um, had the thing is with the Affordable Health Care Act is that a lot of people did not like these type of payments, not because it just seemed excessive, right? It's like, oh, it's not because of greed. It's because um, you just thought that it just didn't make sense to them. They weren't living in Europe. You know, Europe it would probably make sense because it's Europe. Um, or list any country that has excessive taxes. Um, it's just that the Affordable Health Care Act is something that a lot of people thought was just a little too much. And any president that made promises to no, that's not it. It's because of the type of person that I've noticed something. Like yeah, the other candidates, including libertarian candidates and third party candidates, it's what's different I've seen is that um, instead of it's like um, it's like the other candidates they um, I don't know like it's about action, right? It's like less about talking and a lot more about action, right? It's just like um, the thing with talking is that um, someone who talks a certain way because the thing is like if you talk a certain way, you know, it, some people just they just you can't just remember these things, right? Like just sometimes it's better to just shrug it off, right? Like that's the thing. The Democrats couldn't understand these that some people could just shrug it off. It's cool, right? It, it's just like they can perceive the misunderstanding, right? And the thing is that you know it's like I could go on why Joe Biden was more so successful than Hillary Clinton and Al Gore was more successful than Hillary Clinton because they it's like a lot of people just think it's because they're men or because Clinton's a woman. No. It, that's the thing. Like, we're supposed. Obama was the first black president, and I'm just like, you know, and just like we see these other countries, and they have elected these um, you know, they have elected these women as their head of states, and because of that, you know, it's just like I don't know, it just you, you, you still have to earn the result, right? And you still have to get the passing grade or whatnot. Yeah, I think 59% or is like the 60% is the typical passing grade in many schools, right? Many courses in school, right? Actually, college, college, like there are cases where you know where it's supposed to get a 30% grade, even though the pass. But the point is, um, um, point is, um, the obvious failure to acknowledge, like just basic common sense. Like nobody wants to reverse the 90s. Just I've seen this. Like the people just don't can't just look back and just think, why would anyone want to reverse the 90s?